This is my first YouTube video essay, and if you're new here, my name is Margaret, and I usually upload either covers or my own original songs to this YouTube channel, but I figured that this is a really good topic to talk about. So it's how I became a songwriter and how you can too. And I will preface this video by saying that I am not an industry songwriter. I just write songs for myself and for my band. So my solo project is Rosewell, and you can find me on any streaming platform really. So Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff, YouTube Music. And then I also write songs for my band, Electric Kettle. We don't have anything out yet, but we should soon. So that's exciting. And definitely subscribe for more updates like that, and let's just get right into it. So my origin story is I wouldn't have considered myself a songwriter even 2.5 years ago. So I was a singer first, and then I learned piano, then I learned guitar, and that all kind of helped me be able to write more songs on my own because I had this singing and then plus an instrument, so that really helped me kind of improvise and get more lyrical inspiration based on little improvisations that I would do like after practice. So that's something I've always really enjoyed, is improvising and just coming up with my own little riffs. So after I'd practice a few songs, a few exercises, I'd always like to improvise afterwards. So I would write a verse here, a chorus there, maybe like a bridge or a hook, but I would really never write a full song. Honestly, it was like, sometimes it was like 1/16 of a song. It was really never completed. So that was really something that I had to get over. I would just never complete a thought, I'd never complete a song. So I'd have all these voice memos lying around thinking maybe I'd get back to them, and I never did really. So, but I think that first step was still important, knowing that I just really enjoyed improvising. Like, that was my thing, the thing that, like, I just like to create. So everyone has their own kind of creative pursuit that they just feel naturally drawn towards, and I really truly think mine is songwriting. So that's kind of my origin story there. And also, my junior year of high school, I did ask for Logic Pro for Christmas, and for those of you who do not know too much about production or anything, that is a digital audio workspace which is just for recording and producing, mixing your own songs and your own tracks, because I was like, okay, maybe this will kick me into songwriting more, and it didn't. It was really when I started actually completing songs, that was the first step, and then I was like, I'm so excited, I want to record these and mix these, and that kind of was hand in hand, me learning how to really complete songs and get better at songwriting, and then also learning a bit more how to produce. Those two things really came hand in hand, so it's kind of cool how songwriting, I do think it kind of leads you to gain these other skills. Like, I've become a much better guitar player and producer because now I consider myself a songwriter. So it's pretty exciting, honestly. So fast forward to my college years. I still found it pretty hard to work on something that was entirely my own. Again, that same problem of never finishing any of my songs. So fast forward to my college years, it was still hard for me to work on something that was entirely my own, so I still had that constant issue, really, of never completing any songs, even though I desperately wanted to. I just felt that it would make me neglect my other responsibilities at the time. That was kind of the excuse I gave myself, at least. So I was definitely getting more and more involved with music at my college. So I was the a cappella director, or the music director for my a cappella group, and I also did some arranging, a lot of arranging, my senior year for them. And then I also was the treasurer for our live music club, and I was taking some classical piano lessons at the end. So I was really involved in all of these different musical endeavors, yet I still couldn't get myself to songwrite. Somehow that was always left to the wayside, even though that was the thing I desperately wanted. So I think really just putting that on such on a high pedestal was not good for me, because that kind of made me never get myself to really songwrite. So just thinking about, the geniuses like Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell, like the songwriting geniuses, I think us having such like a lofty approach to this songwriting can be really detrimental. So that's the first thing. You gotta just knock that songwriting off of its pedestal, otherwise you're never gonna start. So that's a tip. That's definitely a tip I have, and something that I have learned, just kind of get rid of and just start writing, right? So my junior year of college now, I finally wrote my first finished song. After a couple of bunk songs in the practice room, I finally came up with something I really felt was true and good. So it's called Not Bitter, and it was a piano song written on the piano. And that truly gave me so much confidence to just write more songs and then complete them. Like, it really boosted my confidence so much. So that's the second tip there, is really try to finish your songs. You don't have to finish every song. I still don't. But it really gave me a lot of confidence when I finished that first song, because it was kind of like a snowball effect after that. I was like, okay, I can write a song and I can finish it too, you know? So that was super, super, super helpful. What you need to figure out too is what method works the best for you, and what mode works best for you as well, in order to get those creative juices flowing. So it's really, again, just trial by doing. You just have to get started and allow yourself to write. So be unabashed. Just let go of that judgment from yourself and from others, and that is how you'll find your true voice. So now that I have more experience under my belt, songs can still be pretty hard to finish at times, I won't lie. But that certainly does not mean that the song was just not meant to be, or it's just not good enough. Some of my best songs have really come from wrestling with what should come next, and I've definitely had my fair share of going back and forth with the last line of the verse, last line of a chorus, sometimes for days on end, until I finally get what I'm really looking for. And you'll know. You gotta have that confidence to know that you'll know when you find something good, right? So you just have to know that it's worth it. It's worth it wrestling back and forth, because you're gonna get something that's truly unique to you, and you're gonna feel good about it. So get through those slower moments, and you can take breaks too, because sometimes you might come back to it with a fresh take that just need a little bit of time to be uncovered. I know for me, this is true for several songs of mine. So another point I'd like to make is that songwriting is a muscle that needs to be exercised. Something I could have definitely heard back then. It would have been very helpful for me, but it is a skill. I believe that it's a skill, and you gotta practice. You gotta practice doing it. So, especially during those first, that first year, you want to try and songwrite every day, every week. So, make it really consistent. It doesn't matter if some songs aren't as good as you want them to be, it's just that consistency is really gonna help you build up that muscle. So, learning how to write a song with different tools, whether it be from a chord progression, a theme that you're interested in, or based on your own experiences, is going to massively help your songwriting. So, again, I often explore songwriting by going along with a riff that I came up with, maybe after, again, usually it comes from inspiration from like an exercise, or something, or a song that I've kind of done in the past. I kind of can extrapolate stuff from that and really make it entirely my own, and that's really helpful. So I really like doing that. And then sometimes it will start with poetry or prose that you just kind of write on a page, and then you can eventually tweak the song to kind of fit the song's cadence. You can eventually tweak it a little bit. So other times, again, it will just be even as simple as switching between two chords, and then based off of that, you can keep expanding. But it's, again, a lot of times, like, you just got to get those creative juices flowing first. So this is another point here, is that inspiration, that big lofty word again, with inspiration can really come from anything. So I know that's a little overwhelming, maybe to some of you, but I will give some examples. So you can take inspiration from a person, real or not, or a place that you've been to, a book, or a TV show that you've watched. So oftentimes what you need to do is you can kind of mix those real life and fictional events to create the atmosphere that you want for your song. So even a turn of phrase can turn on the light bulb for a song idea. So one of my songs, Ready and Able, came from just that kind of phrase. It really helped me extrapolate. So having that in mind, just have it in mind, things that kind of just pop out to you in your head, and try and write them down, because those can be really good for songwriting ideas. So to really drive it home, I want to talk about the 3 songs that I have released out into the world under the name Rosewell. So where those inspiration kind of came, for the inspiration from those songs, where they came from. So the first song that I released, Kingdom of the Sun, came about from reading the Lord of the Rings series over the summer, and then by just practicing a couple classical guitar exercises. Those 2 things in tandem just made me really open up the possibility of writing a fantasy song, and something that felt a little bit like old-timey, right? Maybe like almost like Renaissance times a little bit. So the second song I released, called the Ozempic Song, came about when I started messing around with this really funky, kind of discordant pattern that I was playing on guitar. And that, again, that helps this atmosphere to eventually morph into a satirical song based on American celebrity culture and a modern Keeping Up with the Joneses critique. So that was that whole phase with these celebrities. I mean, I think they're, obviously they're still doing it, but Ozempic was like a big thing in the headlines, and all these celebrities, especially actresses, were being accused of using Ozempic, but maybe they were, maybe they weren't, I don't know, but that was a big thing, so that really inspired me to write the Ozempic Song. So the third song I released is called Sink, and that was inspired by reading Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, and I also wanted to write a song for Halloween, so I set a deadline for myself, and that really forced me to work on it and finish it. So going back to finishing songs, maybe try to work with a deadline here to try and finish the song. So set a deadline for yourself. Maybe even if you need a little more of like, oh, I'll just finish this song by this time, maybe set a deadline for finishing the chorus, finishing the bridge, yada yada, so maybe breaking it down even further can help too. So that's another way I was able to finish that and release it. So the next point I have for you is I would recommend having one journal for your rough drafts and then another journal for your final, complete, beautifully polished songs. So that's something so satisfying and rewarding to see your songs in a dedicated space. So I personally really like analog. You can use, you could certainly use like Google Docs or Word, whatever you want, but I think it's a little more fun to have like a nice journal with all your completed songs. And then of course you can also upload them on your computer too, just in case, but I really like the journal feel of it. So it really has brought me a sense of pride and joy when I see my songwriting book. Like I flip through it. I think now I have, for Rosewell at least, I have about 50-ish complete songs, and it's nice to just flip through and see all those songs completed. So I highly recommend that you do that, and I also recommend that you record your songs. So, you know, I have voice memos on my phone, I record it from there, and it just makes me feel a little bit better. And sometimes, like, if I forget, if I haven't played a song in a while, if I just play that, I'll start remember. It'll be easier to kind of pick it back up. So I also recommend that you record your songs, which might seem kind of simple, but you know, sometimes like I've forgotten to do that, and then it can be pretty annoying to try and figure out what I've done in the past. So that is that point. And my next point is, if you're a multi-instrumentalist, or even if you just dabble in playing other instruments, try to see what comes out of your improvisation from each. So for me, having piano and guitar to work with has really allowed me to come up with ideas for songs that I otherwise wouldn't have. So ideas expressed on the piano for me often have a more jazzy feel, whereas on acoustic guitar it's more folky, and then for my electric guitar I often come up with more indie rock style songs. So it helps me dip into different genres and have a fresh look on songwriting. So again, I guess this also ties in with inspiration for songwriting. So trying different instruments, even if you just, again, dabble with a certain instrument. If you have a clarinet, try that. It's going to really help you stay fresh and come up with new ideas that you otherwise wouldn't have. So, yep, if you feel stuck to writing on a certain instrument, switch to something else, and then it'll almost force you to write in a new way. And that can be super, super helpful. I want to recap this video by summarizing a few of the points that I made. So the first thing would be to just start. Allow yourself that space to write, and really try to not judge yourself and not have others kind of cloud your judgment either. Just go ahead and write the thing. The second thing is finish the song. So whatever you need to do, so putting deadlines for yourself, breaking it down again even further, finish the chorus, finish the verse, then finish that song. Give yourself a deadline, multiple deadlines even. That's really going to boost your confidence and perhaps get that snowball effect where you'll just keep writing songs and you'll have more confidence to write complete songs. The third thing is that you can get songwriting inspiration from truly anywhere, but you just have to be willing to catch these things. You gotta be willing to catch those moments, write them down, do whatever you need to do, but you'll start kind of subconsciously being able to see what really sticks out to you, hear what really sticks out to you, and then convert that into a song, into your own creative song. So you have to be willing to catch those moments, and then you have to be willing to sit down with yourself, just you and your chosen instrument, and then write. So believe me when I say, after you've done all those steps, you will be able to become a songwriter, and you will find something to write about. I hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you want to hear more about my songwriting, if you want to see some covers, some originals too. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you.